welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks, episode 83, 84. Who knows at this point?
I believe it.
Yeah. So that'll be our last one before Tim is in a new locale,
It's true.
be in England soon.
That's true. It's the last one in the States.
T-minus 3 days.
T-minus tomorrow.
Oh, T-minus tomorrow. There you go.
Yeah, T-minus tomorrow. Yeah, so it's coming fast. A lot of packing to do today and just clearing out stuff.
I believe
it.
Speaking of packing up, Eagles sure are, giving us the good old another performance where it's just like score doesn't look as good as the score looks like the game was a lot better than it was, but I don't know what they just, again with the offense, it's just not like the defense is too soft and the offense is too boring. It's a very rudimentary team that you could tell the coaches are learning how to coach, and they're also not taking a lot of chances, probably because they're new and they're worried about making more mistakes. But at this point, they got to start being more aggressive and doing, especially on defense. If anyone who's watched the last 4 games, and granted they've all been against really good quarterbacks in Prescott, Mahomes, Brady, and even Derek Carr's having a phenomenal year. Yeah. So that's going to happen, that you're going to get torched on defense, but all those offenses they did the same thing. They ran the ball, and then they would occasionally throw 5-10 yards across the middle. There was no outside shot. There was a couple outside shots here and there, which usually didn't connect. Because I will say, I think our secondary, Nelson's hit and miss. He's the kind of player that will get burned every now and then.
Yeah, he did not have a good game. Otherwise, I thought he's been okay.
But I think Slay's been phenomenal. Yeah. McLeod coming back's been strong. I still like Anthony Harris. I know you don't like him, but I think he's been fine. It's just the linebackers. They're not cover. I don't know if they're being asked to do too much, but they're not covering. They're missing tackles. They're letting way too much up the middle on the run, and the D line is just getting gashed and not getting the sacks that we're used to either. So that's my take on it. But I think where we all predicted that they would be 7-10 or something like that, or they might struggle, and so this was going to be the stretch they would struggle, and they're 2-5, just everyone predicted. So I don't know why everyone's all more angry than we should be, because this is exactly where we thought they'd be. But
my biggest thing, you're right. Probably 2-5 in the beginning of the season. No one's surprised by it. It's just these, you've already hit on it. These games haven't been close. You didn't have to beat the Raiders for me to be, feel a little bit better about the situation, but that wasn't a close game. And this was a team that I convinced myself we could be close with. I wasn't expecting you to keep it close with the Cowboys or the Bucks or the Chiefs. The Raiders, I'd like to think we can hold our own, at least look respectable. I'm more upset with the defense, really. I forget who announced the game, but I heard them they were talking about how this defense that they've showed all day just looks completely vanilla and there's not much to it. And he even, the announcer, whoever it was, even said it wasn't in a mean way or a bad way. It's just kind of how they roll out their scheme. But I don't see how you take that in a positive.
Yeah, it was Kenny Albert, who I actually really like as the play-by-play guy. And then it was Jonathan Vilma, which he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it was Vilma that said it was vanilla defense. He knows, he's been in the league for a while. It's just they were getting 8-yard plays at will over this last game, and the run. They don't really, you don't need to push the ball downfield on us. Just run to take what we're giving you. You get 8-yard plays easily. They were moving up and down the field with no issue at all, and it's disappointing. I'm really getting disappointed with mostly the D line. I thought it had a bad game, especially because of how much we've invested in the D line recently.
Yeah.
You have Barnett, who just gets penalties, who's a former first-round pick. Graham, who obviously got hurt, so I'll leave him on. But Cox is a big money guy. He's showing frustration.
Yeah.
It looks upsetting, because even if you look at the comments Fletcher Cox made, it looks like the coaches might be starting to lose the team a little bit. That's a team captain, a veteran, who's calling him out for just basically a poor scheme and poor game playing.
Yeah. He was saying that the players aren't always agreeing with calls that are being made on the defense, and the scheme's not really working. So,
that's Fletcher Cox been in the league for long enough to be able to recognize bad coaching when he's being set up to fail.
I mean, also it
It's
makes sense because like that kind of defensive line, they're predicated on what getting to the quarterback quickly. So if you
which we don't
run
do.
a deep zone coverage, what that like eliminates the whole point of getting a pass rush because quarterback's like, all right, I can just wait until my receiver breaks the middle plane for about 7-8 yards and then throw it. Like if they played like more up, I feel like we would see improvements. If they blitzed more, we would see improvements. They're basically trying to get sacks with a 4-man pressure, and that's why we only have 11 sacks on the year, which is
Yeah,
like historic low for this roster.
I know we're in the bottom 5 in the league. I don't remember exactly
I
what
can't
number
remember the last
we're.
time that's been like we've been that bad
Yeah,
on sacks.
we'll see this. It goes back to what you were just saying. Like it's the boring vanilla, non-creative defense. Like we don't blitz. I know Jim
Yeah,
Schwartz didn't blitz, but Jim Schwartz really didn't have problem getting pressure with a 4-man front. You
true.
know, he made it work. Whatever he was coaching, whatever he was designing, the stunts, the switches, whatever, it was working. Rich Gannon, like you need to do something. You got to blitz or something, man. You can't just run with a 4-man front here. They can't get any pressure, and it's killing you. You're just giving
Yeah,
up 8-yard plays every single time.
yeah,
I,
yeah. It's
it's
it's the
I
same
mean,
story every week. So I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm really getting annoyed with is we're not making any improvements. The offense, you go back and say the same things we've always been saying. They ran the ball in the first drive. They looked pretty good on the first drive. They scored and then never ran the ball again.
classic.
I know Sanders got hurt, but come on, you weren't. Just run the ball, man. Just run the ball. That's all we want. I mean, there was some lapse in some of the skill players. The Gainwell fumble wasn't ideal. Devontae Smith had a couple drops, which I didn't love.
Yeah, made a great sideline
Again,
catch though.
yeah, no, I mean he still showed some progress. The drops are worrisome, but again, Jalen still has his issues. He's still. I don't know
I
if
mean,
he can make NFL throws.
the only drops I've seen from Smith, at least from what I've seen, is like either he was pretty tightly covered or the pass was like way like he got a hand on it, but it was not a good pass, like behind him or way too in front. Which if it touches your hand, you catch it. That's always been the rule of a receiver. But I think it's still. I mean, I've seen plenty of rookies come in and just drop and drop and drop until they get acclimated to like how the quarterback throws the ball and like the speed of the game. So, I mean, it hurts to see Jamar Chase, having a historic rookie year.
Yeah.
But I think Devontae's fine. Like, I think his supporting cast isn't like. I think they're not using Quez enough. I would just run Quez and Devontae 1 and 2, and then have Rager like move around in the slot, which is what they kind of did the first game against the Falcons. But then they feel like they've gotten away from it. But
Yeah, I'd like to see some more like RPOs, get the quarterback moving.
well,
Again, this was another game where, and you know what I said? I was thinking this week after watching this game, and a little bit of I think it was the Sunday night game. Seeing Sirianni's offense and seeing how he likes to pass all the time and push it downfield, and he likes looks like he wants a quarterback with a big arm. It looks like it would have made more sense to hire Sirianni, kept Wentz, kept Hurts, let him decide who he wants, because this offense looks like it's better suited for Carson Wentz. I got to be honest with you. It looks like he just wants to push the ball downfield, and I don't know. He's not playing to his strengths with Hurts. He's not a guy that's going to sling the ball all over the place or push it downfield. And if you don't know that by week 7 now, like that isn't growing pains. That's just understanding football. Just watch a couple games and you can see that this isn't the offense for this kid.
yeah, I mean, I don't think Hurts has been the problem. I don't think he's
definitely not
necessarily.
been the solution. I won't say he's the problem, but he's definitely not the solution.
Yeah, but I also don't think the coaches are really giving him a fair like you said, they're not catering to his strengths. They're just asking him to do a lot. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to let him miss all blame and this is what I heard a lot on the radio yesterday. Pretty much everyone's just begging to fire Sirianni right now. It's week 7, first-year head coach. Sounds about right for Philadelphia. Like, yeah, I know Sirianni's he does not look like a good coach. Gannon looks terrible as well. And I know the game plan on both sides look bad, but we can't just blame this all on the coaches. Like the players have really underperformed too. Sure. There's passes that, Hurts misses. We had drops. There's a fumble. We miss tackles all the time.
Yeah.
And again, you can go back and I really, unless the wheels fall off and looks really bad, I don't think Howie's going to go anywhere. I think he's pretty safe.
Yeah.
But you got to look at, some of this isn't just coaching, and it's also the roster. It's the buildup. There isn't much talent on this roster.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the Birds? I'm pretty much I feel like I'm
It's
repeating myself every week. So
that's what I mean. Like it's just a broken record. I'm disappointed. I mean, now we're here. Now the season starts because now you got through this. You got through the part where everyone thought you were going to be 1-6 or 2-5 or whatever.
sure.
So now the season starts. These excuses about how we were supposed to go 2-5 or we played a hard schedule, blah 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 blah, are going out the window next couple games. I know I've heard you say, I've been extremely critical about the defense in this aspect, like where, we're giving up 40 points. I know it's the Cowboys and Chiefs, but you still can't give up 40 points to any team in the NFL and expect to win.
Of
So
course.
I don't want to hear the excuses of, oh, they're a good offense or this is a good team or, oh yeah, we threw a couple garbage time touchdowns late to make the score close. You better be winning. You better be winning. You better be handily beating the Lions this week. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want it close. The Lions don't have a win. But you know what worries me? I'll end it on this last stat, and then we can move on. I heard the Eagles have been losing by 12 or more points in 6 different games. That's the most in the NFL. So the Lions, who don't have a win, haven't been losing by 12 or more points in more games than you. That just tells you haven't been close. You're not close in these games.
Nice.
You can look at the Lions as an example. They lost on a record-breaking field goal at the end of the game against the Ravens. They had a heartbreaking loss to the Bengals, I think it was too.
Yeah.
Like we don't really have any heartbreaking losses because we're never in games. I guess the Niners, you could say, but we're not in games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disheartening. That's why. I mean, I know we were expected to be 2-5. The 2-5 that I've seen so far is disheartening because you're not even in these games.
Surprisingly, it's first time Eagles are 2-5 since 1999. That was Andy Reid and McNabb's first year, I believe. So,
well, I guess that worked out for us then. So maybe something's coming in the future.
We'll see. But quick wrap up of the rest of the weekend. Thursday we had doozy with the Browns and the Broncos. Browns pulled it out without Baker. It was the Case Keenum show.
That wasn't at some points. That wasn't the easiest game to watch. There was some rough offense that game.
Surprise game of the week. Well. No, I would say a different one was the surprise, but one of the surprises, Titans just manhandled the Chiefs 27-3.
Yeah.
Chiefs might be in trouble.
And my most impressive win of the week, I think easily. One of many blowouts this week. This really wasn't a competitive week. It was
I mean, we kind of saw that coming there when we did our picks because there was a lot of agreements that the favorite team was just going to win by default.
Yeah. So. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, another one of those 1:00 games. The closest game we had all week was between two of the worst teams in football, between the Dolphins and Dolphins. So I wouldn't say it was the most entertaining week. There was some fun plays and some fun stuff, but there was definitely lopsided games all over.
Yeah. Packers beat Washington 24-10. Packers have very quietly won 6 straight games.
Big matchup this week, though.
Yeah. The other surprise, the Bengals just thrashed the Ravens 41-17. When we did that pick, I was very back and forth because I wanted to pick the Bengals, and I just thought, literally, my words were, if it goes to a shootout, the Ravens have a better defense, they'll end up coming out on top. And it was a shootout in the beginning for a bit, and then the Bengals pulled away. So they did the opposite of what I said.
Yeah, one of the more definitely. I still think the Titans had the most impressive win. The Bengals right behind them at 2, though. But 41 points against a pretty solid Ravens defense. I mean, that Ravens defense just gave up 6 points to the Chargers last week or the week before. So very, very impressive. The Bengals are for real, man. They're here.
They are legit. Their offense is really good, and their defense does just enough with some really good players like Jesse Bates. So Panthers and the Giants was a 3-5 score game for most of the game, and then the Giants pulled away with some late scores. They won 25-3. Panthers are terrible now.
Oh, that was just ugly. Man, you can't get blown out by the Giants. That just can't happen.
It's
the Giants missing their entire offense pretty much.
Well, Danny Jones was back, but
Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay, and I don't think Slayton played either.
I think Shepard was back.
Yeah.
Like we said, Falcons beat the Dolphins on a field goal, 30-28, and I think that was in America. That wasn't a London game. I don't know why. That was Falcons played in London a bit ago. Patriots blew out the Jets 54-13, and Zach Wilson got hurt, which led to the Jets, for some reason, trading for Joe Flacco and giving the Eagles a conditional 5th, 6th round pick. So
yeah, I forgot about that trade actually. But yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what they were thinking. Why not
I
just
have zero idea.
You have no interest in winning. Just let this Mike White guy roll out there and play. I don't know. I don't know who he is. He seems like a young quarterback. I don't know. Whatever. If you just want a quarterback, I think I would have just signed Cam Newton off the waivers and saved the draft pick. But
yeah, that was confusing.
Oh, actually, you know what? Not to cut you off, but I did want to bring this up because now we're hearing all the rumors and the Minshew mania picking up.
No.
Got a question for you before you do your too much whiz or not enough whiz. Too much whiz, not enough. Gardner Minshew will start a game this year. Not due to injury.
Too much whiz. He's not going to.
Too much whiz?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Jalen. I think they're going to let Jalen ride it out.
Fair enough. Well, listen, I think that's the way to do it. I kind of thought going into this offseason had the mindset of you need to bring someone in to push Hurts because Minshew came in too late last year. I don't think he had a chance to. We all know Flacco was never going to play. It didn't matter. They could have lost every game. He was never coming in there. No. Minshew, you could say, he's young, unproven. Maybe he goes in there, pushes them, then you go into competition in the offseason. But yeah, I just want to gauge your interest on that.
Yeah, I think he's just a good backup at this point. I mean, there's a reason the Jaguars drafted a quarterback instead of sticking with him. So, but like we mentioned, Raiders beat the Eagles 33-22. Rams, Stafford beat his old team, the Lions, 28-19. It was actually a lot closer, and the Rams pulled away.
See, that worries me. Lions have a lot of those games, man. They fight. That's
what I'm saying. I wouldn't be shocked if
the Eagles don't really fight. Like you know what? It kills me to say, but I think it's gonna be close, that Lions game, and I don't like that.
Tom Brady and the Bucks destroyed the Bears 38-3. Yeah, another blowout. Cardinals beat the Texans 31-5. So all these 5 scores.
A couple safeties this week. Right?
Yeah. Colts and Niners were in a close game for a while, and then the Colts pulled away 30-18. That was Sunday night.
Carson Wentz still looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he had a little rough game, but it was also like a torrential downpour. So, like, he really grip the ball. But
yeah, he did enough, though, obviously.
And then the Saints beat the Seahawks in a game we watched together, and it was very painful.
Yeah, I talked about the Thursday night being a tough offense game.
Both quarterback. I mean, I told my coworker this morning, I was like, Jameis Winston is not going to be on the Saints as a starting QB next year. There's just no way.
I mean, well, what really the Saints missed was Taysom Hill. Jameis Winston isn't good enough to be on by himself and win games. I mean, they don't have any. I mean, Kenny Still's washed at this point. They don't have any good receivers, and it's all the Alvin Kamara show. And Jameis isn't like this super dual threat quarterback that you're gonna have to worry about him like accounting for more than just throwing. So it's like, no. I mean, listen, the offense goes through Alvin Kamara. He was putting up wide receiver 1 stats while running the ball. Whatever, like 15, 20 times or whatever.
My fantasy guy.
All
right, that's a wrap on this week. What are the studs and duds collection?
All right, so I can actually kind of from the conversation we're having, it seems like we're in a bad mood today. So we'll start with the duds.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's just like I said, it wasn't really competitive, and I really wanted it to be competitive, and it wasn't. And now I'm already talking myself into we might lose to the Lions, which I don't care what's going on in the world. That's a bad week right there. So all right, let's get right into it. So for the third dud this week. Guy was a part of a pretty rough beatdown. He definitely had his welcome to the NFL moment this week. Let's put it that way. 22 of 32 with 184 yards and 3 interceptions.
True.
Yeah, you don't want to see no touchdowns, not even hit 200 passing yards, and have 3 interceptions when your defense gave up 38 points. You'd like to see your offense can at least put up some garbage time stats, considering you're passing all game. But tough. He really didn't have an answer for this defense. They were all over him. His offense line just crumbled in front of him. I saw him running for his life pretty much all game. So I hate to put all the blame on him, but you just read those stats and they just scream ugly. So definitely a welcome to the NFL moment. But my third dud this week is Mr. Justin Fields, who just got bushwhacked by the Buccaneers defense pretty much all game.
Yeah, he did not look that good.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Fields shows glimpses, but there's not enough I'm seeing like improvement and stuff. I have to think that Nagy's going to be fired at the end of the year. And they'll bring in someone to kind of just bring out the best in Fields. Because if Fields doesn't look good by the end of the season, there's no way Nagy's staying. He's his last calling card. Moving on, we got another quarterback here. This one was a tight one. This first stud and second dud were very tight. I could have honestly gone either way, but I put this guy at second dud because he's never on the duds list. I've never thought about putting him on the duds list. He's pretty much immune from the dud list. But since we've seen early this year, Derrick Henry made it on the duds list. Obviously, he's proved me wrong since then. But another guy that easily one of the best players in the NFL, another blowout, got smacked. Another quarterback who couldn't score a touchdown and only put up 3 points, even though his defense gave up 27. So 20 for 35, 206 passing yards, and 1 interception and no touchdowns. What's even crazier, and this was, I think, what really got him on the duds list, he now leads the league in interceptions with 9, I believe, tying Zach Wilson. And that would be Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh,
finds his way on the duds list.
Duds list.
Listen, man, he's leading the league in interceptions. Whenever you're tied with Zach Wilson in anything, that's not a good look. He really did not look good this week either. He's not looked great this season. Something about the Chiefs is just not there. Their defense has always been suspect. Now they're easily one of the worst in the NFL, but even the offense isn't doing it. The line doesn't look great. Tyreek Hill and Kelsey have been more mortal than they have superstar. And Mahomes is just, I don't know. Something is off with Mahomes, man. He should not have 9 interceptions through week 7. It's just, and he left that game in halftime? Yeah. I just, it's baffling what's going on there. I'm not writing them off now. I still think they can figure this out. They're veteran. They've been there. They know what they're doing. And the AFC is pretty weak. But yeah, right now, my second dud's got to go Mr. Patrick Mahomes, and he's got to pick it up. Otherwise, the calls about what happened to Patrick are going to get loud.
Yeah.
Moving on, and like I said, this one was a very close split. It was between this first dud and Patrick Mahomes. But you know what? Patrick Mahomes has given me some good moments. I know he's looked rough this entire season, but I have seen some good moments from him. He's won a couple games. I haven't seen any good moments from my first dud this whole season. His defense gave up 33 points this week after giving up scores of 28, 21, 42, 41, 32.
Damn.
Really not impressive season at all. We've already spent most of this episode ripping him and his whole vanilla ass scheme, so I won't get too much into it. But unless I see something change, I think Rich Gannon's probably going to find his spot on the dud list weekly. So my number one dud after a putrid defensive performance, with just a vanilla play calling, as it has been every single week for this entire season, we're going with Mr. Rich Gannon. Jeez. So never a good week when we see one of our birds on the number one dud spot, but I don't know what else to say. This defense stinks. It's so vanilla. The Raiders were getting 8-yard plays at will. Derek Carr, 31 of 30 fucking 4.
Yep.
Like that guy missed 3 passes. One of them was just a bad ball that got picked off.
Yep.
You can't just let that. You can't let a guy go 31 to 34. It's just absurd. Absurd. So, yeah, those are the duds. Any thoughts, any cares, any criticisms?
I never thought I would see Mahomes on the duds list, but
listen, it's a weird year. It was a weird year. We have now Mahomes is on there. Derrick Henry was on it before. I mean, I'm a superstar risk wearer. The NBA playoffs last year, I was critical of Leonard, and he came out and dominated before he tore his ACL. Derrick Henry he had one bad week, so I immediately jumped all over that, and he has just kind of destroyed the league since then. Maybe Pat Mahomes goes back to normal. He can definitely do it. He's still one of the best players in football. But right now, he is definitely playing like a dud. But moving on, let's get to the good stuff. So this is, I think this is definitely a good feel-good story on our third stud for this week. First start for this guy. I always like when the rookie, it's the first start guys, like late picks or undrafted guys or guys that bounce around. A guy that wasn't even in football, recently. Okay. I saw the messages they were sending. He's DMing AFL teams when that league was going on, trying to get a roster a spot. Mm-hmm. Somehow ends up starting this week due to a whole bunch of injuries.
Oh yeah. And
started, he had the opportunity to start, but his offense line was missing a couple key players who were hurt. His quarterback was hurt, so the offense in general was expected to lack, which they did. They only put up 17 points, but they managed to win, and it was really mostly because of him. 22 carries for 146 yards and a touchdown to go along with that. Mr. De'Aaron Johnson from the Cleveland Browns is my third stud of the week. He probably won a lot of people fantasy matchups this week.
Oh, yeah.
He was definitely the waiver wire pickup to have. Really impressive.
I missed out on him, unfortunately.
Yeah, really, really impressive performance. Like I said, he came in with a lot of guys hurt, and he was the reason they won. It was a close game, 17-14, an ugly game. Yeah. And without him, they weren't going to win. And that's pretty impressive when you lose two superstars running backs like that, and your third guy comes up who wasn't even in the league recently and just balls. So yeah, good game for the guy. I was proud. That's definitely a game I'll never forget. Good to see. The emotional aspect, you like to see it. Moving on. My second stud is actually someone who made a little bit of history this past week. Did something that no other player in NFL history ever did.
Oh.
It was so impressive. We can negotiate the terms of this agreement. I think the guy did pretty well. I mean, listen, otherwise, let's be honest. There was going to be a hit team going after that fan who Mike Evans gave that ball to if he didn't give him the ball. So it looks like he made up pretty well with the signed jerseys, the Bitcoins, the tickets for the next year. But Mr. 600 went out and smacked the Bears. 20 of 36, 211, and 4 touchdowns. You look at his numbers, his completion percentage and his yards really aren't always impressive, but he just throws touchdowns all the time. Yeah. I think he's actually leading the league in passing touchdowns.
Surprise me.
Yeah, so became the first player ever to throw for 600 career touchdowns, Mr. Tom Brady. I mean, he's got every record in the world, so when he breaks a record, I got to throw him on the studs list.
People were saying that that guy shouldn't have given him the ball back because the Patriots, I always say the Patriots still. The Buccaneers gave that fan for the 600 ball, they gave him a signed helmet, a couple of signed jerseys, and $1,000 to the Bucks gift shop.
Well, hold on. So that was the first rumor. That was my first. So it's been updated since. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, okay.
So he's gotten 2 season tickets for the rest of the season and all of next year.
Okay.
He got, I think it was 2 Brady jerseys and a helmet all signed. He got Mike Evans Game Worn gloves and a Mike Evans jersey signed. He's getting $1,000 gift store. And then Brady actually came out and said this. Brady's going to give him a Bitcoin. So
interesting.
I'm sure he's going to do some kind of promotional crazy thing because he's, on those commercials with Giselle for that crypto company or whatever he's doing. So Tom Brady is just the ultimate marketer. He also dropped that hype tape playing Chief Keef in the background after he just destroyed Chicago, which I got to say, I don't really, Brady, I can't say I love Brady, but I was like, that's mind games. That's chess instead of checkers.
Everybody's been warming up to him lately just because he's such a better
He's got a personality now.
Yeah, I know. He's such a robot with the Patriots. So
I'm starting to really hate. I kind of hate it. He's actually I am kind of getting into him now. He's he seems fun. You see him on the commercials. You see him having fun. You see him energetic. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, I think if you don't give Tom Brady that ball back, there's probably a hits god's going up to your house that night and stealing it. So I think he did pretty good. Let's be honest. He was never, that ball was going back to Brady.
Yeah.
I think he did pretty well out of the trade.
I mean, yeah, I think for the pure, what's the word? It's the right thing to do to give him the ball back.
Yeah, you got.
And other people were Shannon Sharp is joking. He's like, hell no, I'm running out of the stadium with that ball. I'm throwing that on eBay right away. And
oh, bro, they're gonna find you. The hit squad's coming for you. Brady's getting that ball back. Yeah. So, I mean, I felt bad for the guy because he he's actually a UCF alumni. I've learned, so that bright spot in my heart. But he everyone was ripping him. They're like, this guy has no idea what he's not a negotiator. Blah 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 blah. And it was that was the major headline of the NFL Week 7. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. You could still, the guy's got 15 minutes of fame and a whole bunch of other cool stuff coming his way. So, not bad. All right. Sure. Moving on. So, we got history in the studs list. Obviously, I told you Tom Brady, was a part of history with his 600 pass. But we had another little bit of history come out today. I believe that this is the most receiving yards by anyone to start in the first 7 games of any player's career. Obviously, when you go out and smash one of the best teams in your conference, who is also a division rival, that's going to make everyone in your team look good. When you go over 200 receiving yards in your 7th NFL game, and you do that, that makes it even better. You mentioned this earlier. I honestly, it makes me feel better that he went number 5 overall. Had he been there at 6, I would have been really upset that we traded back. But this guy's an absolute stud. He's such a big play beast. You can't tackle him. Let me read this to you, and I want you to pay attention. 8 receptions. What do you 8 receptions on? He averaged 10 yards a catch, very normal average, 80 yards. It's a solid day. 8 receptions for 201 yards.
Casual.
And 1 touchdown. This guy's just, you want to talk about big play. Does it get bigger than that? He was averaging a 25 yards per catch. What's even nuttier is he didn't even have the highest yards per catch on his team. His teammate, CJ Usama, had a 30-yard per catch average. But Mr. Jamar Chase, to do what you're doing in your rookie seating is just absurd. No one is ever going to doubt the Bengals for taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. I don't care what they say about, the line stinks, Joe Burrow's knees and broken in half, blah, blah, blah. You got Jamar Chase out, you'll be all right. So 8 receptions, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, my number 1 stud this week. And I doubt this is going to be his only appearance on this list this season, Mr. Jamar Chase.
It's funny to see a Bengal on the stud list and a Chief on the dud list.
It is. It's weird, man. It's a weird time this year. There's a whole bunch of nonsense going all over the place.
They're in first place in the they're in first place in the North, and the Raiders are in first place in the West. It's nutty.
It's nutty. I mean, we had a Bengal and a Bear on the stud list this year. Or no, I'm sorry, a Bengal and a Brown.
And a Brown, yeah.
It's a weird time.
All right, nice lists. So I guess technically we would have had 4 too much whiz because you hit us with the early one.
Yeah, you walked me into it and just immediately clicked in my brain.
Happens. But I got my 3 for you. So the first one, too much whiz. No matter what happens the rest of this season,
okay,
Eagles coaching staff is safe from being fired. Any of the main coaches. So the coordinators.
You're saying in season or after? Basically, are they going to get a second year?
They're not going to get fired in season. They'll be safe until the offseason. All of them.
All right. I'm going to say not too much whiz. Sirianni's safe. I know everyone's begging for him to be fired. Sirianni's safe. You can't fire a head coach after the first season. Otherwise, you just look like the Browns or the Jets. Gannon's going to have to answer because you know what? We've been saying this for a couple weeks now. I hated the fact that he brought in an experienced defense coordinator, a guy, his buddy pretty much, the same guy he was with in the Colts. I didn't like that when it happened. I've already gone through the numerous list of offensive coaches that came in as head coaches their first year and they got established defensive coordinators. If this defense doesn't improve and we end up as one of the worst teams, someone's going to have to pay. I'd love for Howie to be held accountable. He's not. Sirianni's going to get another year. I could see them moving on from Gannon if this defense doesn't improve and this season gets ugly. So I'm not going to say it's too much whiz.
Yeah, I would say because if the defense just continues to be terrible, I could see
awful.
But yeah, Sirianni's fine. And yeah, like you said, I mean, look at Dallas, unfortunately, and the Raiders. Both those defenses were horrible last year, and both have seen pretty strong improvements. And it's likely in part due to the fact that they both got brand new D coordinators who are experienced veteran coaches. So
absolutely. Well, let me just run you through a couple things here. So we're 4th to last on sacks. You mentioned 11, so we are better than the Falcons, Jaguars, and Chiefs. That's it. That's just that. And again, you said that's something that we've always been known for. Jim Schwartz was never a blitzer, but we could still get freaking pressure.
Yeah.
We're not doing any of that. Let's look at yards per game. How are we doing against that? We're right in the middle of the pack, 350. I can live with that. But again, it's just I'm having trouble finding something to be proud of with this defense.
I mean, pass coverage, besides Carr's the first quarterback, I think, to go over 300 yards against us.
Yeah, that would be a nice stat if we weren't just getting completely gashed on the run game every single week.
True.
So,
all right. Second, too much whiz.
Okay.
Too much whiz. Derrick Henry, if the Titans make it to the playoffs, just wild card, division, whatever, he should win MVP over any other quarterback, no matter how those quarterbacks play the rest of the year.
I will tell you right now, I would absolutely vote Derrick Henry the MVP. You can't convince me that there is a player that means more to their team than Derrick Henry in this league. But now that Patrick Mahomes is struggling mightily, you can't. But I am going to still go ahead and say too much whiz There's too many good quarterbacks having great years right now for that to happen. Like, I mean, look, the guy went for over 2,000 yards last year and didn't win the MVP. You know, I mean, you're basically saying like he should have won it last year. That's why I don't really think he's going to win this year. I know Adrian Peterson won it. He's probably the last running back I can remember winning. I think Tomlinson might have won it years ago, but
probably
it's definitely a rare thing. And there's too many good years going around a quarterback. Kyler's having a great year. I'd still put Lamar in that MVP conversation. Josh Allen's is in there. So I think there's gonna be too many good quarterbacks this year for Derrick Henry to win. He absolutely should. I would vote for him, but let's be honest, it's a quarterback award, always has been.
Yeah. All right, I agree with you. I think he should win, but
if he didn't win last year, he's really got to be subhuman to do it this year.
Yeah, and then power rank or not power rankings are my last too much whiz. This one's kind of it's a yes or no. So you gotta from right now, October 27th, it's gotta be yes or no.
Deal.
Too much whiz. The Chiefs will not make it to the AFC Championship game.
I'm gonna say I will say yes, they won't make it to the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
I'm really there's some issues
whiz.
there. Yeah, there's some real issues there. Like I said, the AFC is not a strong conference. I mean, I think the NFC has the top 5 teams in the league. I think the first 5 teams in the NFC better than anyone in the AFC. I still think that defense is going to be a problem. They'll get to the playoffs. They won't be this bad for the rest of the season. Mahomes will figure it out. Hill will figure it out. Kelsey will figure it out. This defense, though, is a problem, and I just don't see them getting past it. I don't know what you do. You know, I just don't see the big move they do. There's so many issues on that defense, and they look horrific.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, and it's, what was it, two years ago? The Eagles, it was either 2 years ago or the year before. But there was a couple, professional analysts who picked the Eagles to make it to the Super Bowl. Small percentage. This past year, I would argue there's probably at least 70% of professionals across ESPN, NFL Network, whatever, that did season predictions and had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I would say probably 70% of people picked the Chiefs.
Bro, I'll raise my hand. I was one of those teams.
I had them in there. Nick had them in there too. I mean, I think he did. It's baffling because this was supposed to be their most talented team. Like, at least that's what I saw. And their defense is just falling apart. Their offense isn't as good as we thought. So
I don't know what did you make changes with? I mean, that first year when Mahomes came on, that defense was horrible. But then they made moves. They brought in Spagnuolo. They got Matthew. Yeah. They got Frank Clark. Got rid of Ford. And then they won the Super Bowl. And then I thought the defense was solid last year. They've never been a great defense, but they never had to because you're Mahomes. This defense is so bad. Even if you have Mahomes, I still don't know if you could really go far with it. It's just it is disastrous.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Our top 10 power rankings. Once again, the Chiefs are not on this.
Yeah.
Again, wild to see. It is weird. I believe they were in it earlier in the week, but in the season, I mean.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah.
The Chiefs were, but the Titans, I believe, were. They come in at number 10 after a strong win. They had a slow start to the season. They've started to get back to their game. Number 9, we had the Chargers were on a bye, so they kind of stay pat. Ravens dropped from number 2 to number 8 after getting blown out by the Bengals. Still a very good team, but
still a very good team.
That was a bit of a concern.
I mean, that's again. I think the conferences are completely just outweighed. I mean, it's tough that the Ravens lost a game to a team we have in our top 10 power rankings and they dropped 6 spots, but it's so tight with those top teams, like between the top 5 in the NFC and then the Bills and the Bengals, that it's just tough. One loss 1 week is going to drop you far. They're so close right now. It's competitive. I'm excited for the rest of the season to see how it plays out.
Yeah. So they come at 8. Cincinnati at 7. They're looking really good. Yeah. Cowboys, sadly, at 6. Packers, number 5. Like I said, they won 6 straight. So, I mean, they're not like blowing teams out, but they're winning gritty games.
They're quietly just dominating.
Bills at number 4. Buccaneers at number 3. Rams at number 2. And the only undefeated team, the 7-0 Cardinals.
7-0 Cardinals, yeah.
7-0 Cardinals. Number one spot. And speaking of those 7-0 Cardinals, jumping into our schedule, our picks, they host the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a great game.
It is. I don't know if you saw the news, though. Alan Lazard and Devontae Adams, I think, both tested positive for COVID, and the Packers defense coordinator.
Yep.
So I think Lazard is definitely out because he's unvaccinated, but I have to assume Adams is probably not going to play either since it's Thursday, not a Thursday game, and I think he tested positive on Monday or maybe yesterday.
And
so that's a devastating loss. So it does make me think that the Cardinals are probably going to pull that out and stay undefeated. I just, without Devontae Adams and Lazard, I don't know if they're going to have enough. The Packers are going to have enough firepower to keep up with the Cardinals offense.
I would have picked the Packers if Devontae Adams was playing, but with him out, makes them pretty limited. I mean, Rodgers is still going to be Rodgers, but he's not going to have that player that's going to be able to extend the play like Devontae Adams does. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here. Keep rolling. I mean, they'll probably go 10-0. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I can see them winning a couple more before they lose a few. But
yeah, they look good. I mean, they've given me no reason to think that they're going to slow down.
Yeah. Next game we got Miami at Buffalo. I'm going to take the Bills. Nothing to think
I'm not
about
going to waste
there.
my time here. Yeah, can move on to Buffalo. Oh, bright news. I said last week when the Dolphins lost to Jaguars, that guaranteed us a top 10 pick. The fact that they just lost to the Falcons, that might have guaranteed us a top 5 pick. They don't have many winnable games later. They play the Jets twice, but there's not many winnable games left on that schedule for them. So it would be pretty good for the draft pick.
Could you imagine if we just ended up with like the number 1 overall pick? Like how wild that would be.
if that Dolphins pick turns into something like that, that'll keep Howie's job.
Howie will get a statue made if we get the number 1 pick out of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So
I'd say, you know what? I'll give him that lucky son of a bitch a thing. Like he'll make 10 horrific decisions, but somehow wheel and deal and do something crazy to either get us a whole bunch of salary cap or make a trade and fleece someone or get a draft pick that, no one saw coming to be this good. And everyone forgets about the majority of the mistakes he's made.
Yeah. Then we got the Niners at Chicago. I'm gonna take 49ers bounce back game.
Yeah, Chicago really didn't do anything to impress me. I think the Niners defense win this game, so I'm gonna go Niners.
Steelers at the Browns. What you got?
I don't know. You know what? I haven't heard the injury report yet. I am pretty confident Chubb and Hunt are both going to play maybe bigger plays. Even if he does, he looks pretty banged up. I'll say the Steelers get this one. I think the Browns are in a tough time with injuries and just inefficiency on offense, passing the game specifically. So I think the Steelers win this game. They get a big game from the defense.
Steelers do nothing for me, and I think the Browns ride the Case Keenum show for another game.
That's
with
a show to be proud of.
Hopefully Chubb's back, but even if not, that running back they had did phenomenal. I mean, he made your stud list, so
that is true. Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with the Cleveland.
Fair enough.
Game of the week: Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions.
Oh my god!
So you and I talked about this off episode. I think this game is either going to be a down to the wire, bullshit, terrible game where the Eagles pull out at the end and win by like 7 or 10, or they actually do what we expect and they blow the Lions out. So do I think Detroit has a real possibility of winning the game? Absolutely. I would not be surprised if the Eagles lost. But I think this is a great opportunity for them to just really blow out a bad team. I mean, the Lions have been in every game and they fight, but they don't have the talent to take them over the edge to get these wins. So I'm going to say Eagles either win by a close game by like 7, or they win by 25.
You know what? I'm just going to say I'm going to take the Eagles just because I don't want to even utter the words Lions are going to beat the Eagles. Am I confident about that? No, not really. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. Just please win this damn game. If they don't win this game, oh man, it's going to get tough. It is going to get tough there.
Next we have the Titans at the Colts. It might be a decent game. I think I'm going to ride with the Titans, though. They're just the better team right now.
Yeah, you know what? The Colts are impressing me. They're getting healthier. They got a couple guys back the last couple weeks. Quentin Nelson just played. Wentz is coming to his own. I think they catch it's a division game. It's gonna be tight. I think they're gonna catch the Titans a little bit on feeling good about themselves. Maybe a little hyped up from last week's dominant win against the Chiefs. I think the Colts pull this one out.
Okay. Let's see. Next we have. Right, so you're saying Colts. I got Titans. Next we got the Bengals at the New York Football Jets. New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Bengals, because now you became my lopsided in one word. I'm picking the Bengals beat down of whatever
New York team that was.
Yeah.
We were never that team. But...
You reached that echelon of like, oh yeah, when you're playing the New York team, I know confidently you're going to crush them. So I just don't waste my time.
Yeah. Rams at the Texans. Boy, the Texans just keep getting good teams after good teams. They're really not going to have any wins this year, besides the one. But I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah, this is another one we don't have to get too much into. I'm going Rams.
New England at the LA Chargers. Chargers coming off a bye. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Oh,
I
got some thinking going on.
Yeah, the Patriots are looking pretty good. I know Herbert's still a young quarterback. Belichick does well against young quarterbacks. I think that the Patriots find a way to win this game. Wow. Mac Jones is getting a little bit better. You know what? The Chargers, they had a rough game against the Ravens the week before their bye, and it opened up some concerns for me. So I think that the Patriots knock them off.
All right. And we got a little bit of diversity going on with our picks, which is good because we both went 11-4 last week. Nice. Our guest Pat went 10-5.
As long as we keep beating the guests.
And we both currently sit at 70-36. It's a pretty good record.
Not bad.
I think we're better than last year so far.
Yeah, we're not doing too bad.
All right, so I'll take Chargers. You got Pats. Jacksonville at Seattle. I know it's Geno Smith, and I think Lawrence is trending upwards, but I think Seahawks got to get a win eventually, so I'll take Seattle.
You know what? I don't ever want to pick the Jaguars, but seeing Geno Smith's performance, like we said, we watched that game Monday. That was putrid. That was some real bad. I know it's Geno Smith, but man, he looks terrible.
Yeah.
He got the ball in the hand for DK to run an 80-yard touchdown pass, but after that, it was nothing else he did positive. So I think the Jaguars are going to sneak one out. I think Trevor Lawrence has a big day against that suspect Seahawks defense.
Fair enough.
I'll take the Jaguars.
All right. We have hold on. Washington at Denver.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna take Washington. They've been getting a little better on defense, so I think this will be the game they finally get like a bunch of sacks and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I think Washington's kind of a fraud team, but I mean, Denver and Carolina showed this past week they're the biggest frauds. I'm gonna take Washington. Denver really looked bad this past week.
Yeah, Denver and Carolina both were 3-0, and then they flipped the switch. So
yeah, how badly that looks now.
Tampa Bay at New Orleans. This could have been a good game last year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks too. Jameis didn't really do it for me this past week.
And then we have Sunday Night Football because the Cowboys are always in prime time. Dallas at Minnesota. I'm gonna take the Vikings in an upset, actually.
Okay, not
at
bad.
home.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been the biggest supporter of Vikings, entertainment football. So you can definitely tell me that's going to be a game. I'll be in England for that one, so I'll probably stay up till 3:00 in the morning to watch that game. Nice. So I'm going to take the Cowboys, unfortunately, but I just think their offense is too lethal right now.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. And then Monday night is the Giants at the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. Rebound game.
This is going to be a
game. If they lose to the Giants, then the whole team needs to be put on the dud list. So.
Oh, yeah. If they lose to the Giants, then Kansas City's got some real problems going on out there.
And we have Vegas Raiders and Baltimore on buys. So a lot better for fantasy football owners because last week was bye week and injury hell. So, I mean, my one team had 80% of my roster was questionable, on a bye, or had COVID. And I lost. I still scored 150 points, but I lost. So, I mean, that's a that's a win for me. So
moral victory.
Moral victory, yeah. All right, that's a wrap up on week 7, and now we're at week 8. Would have been the midway point, but now we have 17 games. So I guess technically week 9 would be midway point, but trade deadline as well is coming up soon, so that'll be interesting. But all right, another good week of football, and safe travels to London.
Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right, peace out.
See you. Peace.